Rolex's rise from orphan to billion-dollar empire. Rolex is undoubtedly one of the biggest names in the watch industry. Its brand recognition is unparalleled, making it a symbol of luxury and excellence. But have you ever wondered how this company went from being founded by an orphan to becoming a billion-dollar empire? Welcome to the AF Empire channel, where we focus on successful companies and giant empires of the world. If you're interested in this kind of content, then this channel is for you. Make sure to like this video, click on the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to keep you updated on our recent uploads. Now let's get right into the video and explore the inspiring story of an orphan who go on to build a billion-dollar watch empire. Rolex. The history of Rolex traces back to 1905 when Hans Wilsdorf and his brother-in-law Alfred Davis established the company. While initially based in England, the brand later moved to Switzerland, a hub for watchmaking. It was an unlikely partnership, considering Hans was a German orphan with no family background in watchmaking. However, his visionary ideas coupled with Alfred's financial support proved to be a winning combination. Hans Wilsdorf's journey began in 1881 when he was born in Kumbach, a town in northern Bavaria. He grew up in a comfortable middle-class family, thanks to his grandparents' wealth and his parents' ownership of an ironmonger in Kumbach. However, tragedy struck when Hans was just 12 years old, losing both his parents within a short period of time. This left him and his siblings as orphans. Under the care of their aunt and uncle, Hans and his siblings were sent to a boarding school in Coburg. While the intention was to provide them with a good education, the experience proved to be dreadful for Hans. To cope with his circumstances, he focused on his studies and excelled in reading, writing, and speaking English, a skill that would prove invaluable later on. After enduring several challenging years, Hans finally graduated from school, and at the age of 19, he embarked on a journey to Switzerland, specifically the La Chaux-de-Fonds region, in search of a better life. This area was renowned for its watchmaking industry, making it an ideal location for Hans to gain valuable experience and knowledge. Initially, Hans found employment with a pearl merchant, but it was his subsequent job at a growing watch company called chronometer that ignited his passion for watches. Despite lacking any prior watchmaking experience, Hans was hired because of his proficiency in English. His language skills allowed him to handle correspondence with customers from the British Empire and America, giving him an insight into the world of watches. During his time at chronometer, Hans became captivated by watch movements and their accuracy. This fascination marked the beginning of his lifelong passion for horology, ultimately leading him down the path to founding one of the most iconic luxury watch brands in the world, Rolex. Hans Wilsdorf's vision and Rolex's innovative marketing. After gaining experience in the watch industry, Hans Wilsdorf felt it was time to embark on his own entrepreneurial journey. He moved to London and found a suitable partner in his brother-in-law, Alfred Davis. Together, they founded Wilsdorf and Davis in 1905. At 24 years old, Hans had the ambition to develop their own brand. Initially, they imported inner watch parts, housed them in British cases, and sold them to jewelers. Recognizing the potential for their own brand, they secured the name Rolex 3 years later. Hans wanted a short and memorable name that would be easily recognizable in any language. While the brand had its origins in London, they quickly established an office in Switzerland. Hans dreamt of creating an elegant, durable, and precise wristwatch. In the early 1900s, wristwatches were gaining popularity among men, but they faced challenges. They were more exposed to moisture, rain, and dust compared to pocket watches, which were kept safely inside clothing. Additionally, wristwatches were considered fragile and more of a women's fashion item. Hans saw the potential in wristwatches and recognized the need for improved precision and durability. He embarked on a mission to continuously enhance the movements of his watches. His efforts paid off in 1910 when Rolex became the first wristwatch to receive the Swiss certificate of chronometric precision. Never one to settle, Hans aimed for perfection. He wanted his watches to be not only precise but also robust. Moreover, he had a grand vision for Rolex's global recognition, which required innovative thinking and marketing strategies. Hans Wilsdorf's genius extended beyond technical watch development to effective marketing. He knew how to present his inventions to the public in the most compelling way. Over the next decades, Rolex's marketing campaigns involved some unconventional stunts. In 1926, Rolex introduced the waterproof Oyster case. To demonstrate its water and dust-proof capabilities, they entrusted an Oyster watch to Mercedes Gleitze, a British professional swimmer attempting to become the first woman to swim across the English Channel. Despite the weather conditions causing her record attempt to fail, the Rolex watch remained completely intact, keeping accurate time during more than 15 hours of immersion in cold seawater. This feat garnered significant attention, and Rolex further showcased the Oyster's waterproof qualities by placing fish tanks with submerged Oyster watches in shop windows. Rolex also seized historic opportunities to showcase their products. When pilots flew over Mount Everest in 1933, they were equipped with Rolex watches, proving their reliability in the air. 20 years later, Sir Edmund Hillary and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay wore Rolex Oyster Perpetual watches when they became the first humans to reach the summit of Mount Everest. Rolex continued pushing boundaries by venturing into the depths of the ocean. In the 1950s, as deep-sea diving gained popularity, the Trieste submarine reached the deepest point on Earth. Attached to its exterior was the Rolex Deep Sea Special. With each accomplishment, Rolex impressed the world, and gradually, unexpected individuals began wearing Rolex watches. Pope John Paul II, the 14th Dalai Lama, Fidel Castro, Che Guevara, James Bond, and Warren Buffett, to name a few, all became fans of the brand. While Rolex has always been at the forefront of technological innovation, it wasn't always the status symbol it is today. In the 1960s, Rolex watches were seen as functional tools rather than decorative accessories. Moreover, they were not as exorbitantly expensive as they are now. Rolex's triumph. Over the quartz crisis and legacy, in the late 1970s, the Swiss watch industry faced a significant challenge known as the quartz crisis. Japanese watch brand Seiko introduced the world's first quartz wristwatch, the Astron, on Christmas Day in 1969. Quartz watches, powered by batteries, were more accurate and cost-effective compared to traditional mechanical watches. This shift in technology led to a decline in demand for Swiss mechanical watches, and put many Swiss watchmakers at risk of going out of business. Rather than trying to compete solely on price, Rolex made a strategic decision to emphasize its heritage, status, and craftsmanship. Throughout the 1980s, Rolex invested heavily in building its prestigious brand image. They placed Rolex clocks in airports and forged sponsorship deals with esteemed leisure activities such as tennis, golf, equestrianism, yachting, and the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. These marketing efforts helped Rolex maintain relevance and transform their watches into coveted objects of desire rather than just utilitarian timepieces. During this time, Hans Wilsdorf, the founder of Rolex, had already withdrawn from the watch business. After his wife's passing in 1945, he had transferred responsibility for the company to the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation. Hans Wilsdorf passed away in 1978, and without any children, the ownership and control of the company were also transferred to the foundation. Today, Rolex stands as one of the most prestigious brands globally and the leading luxury watch manufacturer in the world. With over 2,000 Rolex watches produced per day, the company generates billions in sales each year. The private Hans Wilsdorf Foundation still owns and controls the company, which is why Rolex is not listed on the stock exchange. Rolex's reputation is built on innovation, precision, and functionality. The brand serves as a perfect example of the importance of establishing a strong reputation and allowing it to work in your favor. By focusing on craftsmanship, heritage, and marketing, Rolex successfully navigated through the quartz crisis and emerged as a symbol of luxury and excellence in the watch industry. As we conclude this video, don't forget to share in the comments if you knew that Rolex was originally created by an orphan. If you're a horology enthusiast, feel free to share any additional interesting details you believe should have been included. And if you're in the mood for more inspiring business stories, explore our AF Empire channel for further content.